guys, welcome to HPS. I'm Isaac, and today we are doing an HPS exhaust install on the Patriot 850 sled. This install will work for both the Axis Patriot 850 and the Matrix Patriot 850 non-turbo or non-boost. It will also work for the previous Axis 800 and 600s with one minor change. To begin the install, we will need to take the exhaust side panel off of the sled. And to do that, it consists of two quarter-turn fasteners towards the back, towards the front of the panel, one rubber strap, and then you just give it a pull and then give it a yank, just like that, and that panel will come right off. From there, you can see the stock exhaust in the sled. And we're going to start uninstalling by starting with the EGT probe on top of the stock exhaust. This is the 17mm open-end wrench. Just takes a little bit of reef, and then you can unscrew it out of the muffler. We'll put it aside for the time being. Next, we will have 4 springs on the stock muffler that we will need to remove. The first one is on the front of the stock muffler right here, attached to the cross member bar on the chassis behind the muffler. The second one is directly behind the muffler back here. It too is attached to the cross member on the chassis. The one directly behind the muffler is a different shape than the other springs. So you want to keep in mind where that goes. It will go back to the same spot when we install the HPS muffler. The other 2 springs are the springs that connect the stock muffler to the stock pipe. The bottom side, or the bottom spring that attaches the muffler and the pipe, is the hardest one to get to and requires you to reach behind the muffler, or if you would like, you can take the hood off of the sled and reach from the front. Sometimes that's the easiest way to do this, so we're going to go ahead and take the hood off the front of the sled. And that is done by, on both sides, there are quarter-turn Zeus fasteners on the hood right there, and then on the other side as well. Right there. And then there is an electrical plug right underneath. If you reach it right here, it takes just pressing the latch to unhook it, pulling it out, and this whole hood pops right off. Just like that. Once the hood is off, it makes it a little bit easier to reach that spring underneath. Once that hood is off, it can make it easier to reach that bottom spring underneath the pipe. Don't drop the spring or else it'll go into the black hole abyss underneath the motor. Once the EGT probe is out of the exhaust, as well as the 4 springs holding down the stock muffler, you're now ready to remove the stock muffler by lifting up and rotating counterclockwise out. That is the best way to get this muffler out of the sled. So we want to lift up and rotate out. Oh my gosh. And out. Just like that. The stock muffler will have this rubber pad that rests on the chassis right here. You can keep that with the stock muffler. You will not need it for the HPS. While we have both mufflers out of the sled, we might as well go ahead and weigh them. The stock exhaust Comes right in at 15.8 pounds. This is a brand new exhaust. It has not been run very much, so it is not soaked with running oil yet. The HPS Performance Exhaust comes in at 6.8, so exactly 9 pounds weight savings. Now that we have the stock muffler out of the sled, we can now install the HPS Performance Exhaust. To do so, it is extremely easy. The best way to do it is you want to put the base of the exhaust into the belly pan of the sled, just like that, and then bring the muffler to the pipe, just like that. And then you can start springing it to the pipe. So take the two springs that came from the stock muffler and pipe and use them to put the HPS muffler to the stock pipe. The large spring hook that came from behind the stock muffler goes to the same spot of the HPS muffler. It'll stretch from this cross member spring hook right here to this hook on the bracket behind the HPS muffler. After you have sprung the muffler down to the sled, you then need to put the EGT probe into the HPS muffler. Sometimes the probe itself isn't long enough to reach, but they always have a little extra bunched up in a zip tie up here. Sometimes you will have to clip the zip tie and re-zip tie it. A lot of times you can just pull on the wire just a little bit and get yourself enough wire lead to reach the HPS muffler. And then torque it down. Give it a snug pull, but not too tight. That's all you need. So now the sled just goes back together, and it goes back together just the reverse from how we took it apart. We'll begin with the hood. All you have to do is match up these positioning clips on the hood of the muffler into these holes in the front belly pan of the sled. Once those are in, it matches perfectly with these holes up here. And you retighten these quarter turn Zeus fasteners on both sides. And then don't forget to plug the gauge back in from underneath right here. Then you can take your panels, stick them back on, 2 quarter turn fasteners, the front and the back, and then the rubber strap. And then again on the exhaust panel, you'll take these 2 positioning tabs and put them into the side panel of the sled. Give it a little push, and then push it onto the side of the sled. Again, quarter turn fastener front and back, and a bungee on the side. You've just successfully installed the HPS Performance Exhaust on the Patriot 850. Again, this will work on the Axis, and it will work on the Matrix non-boosted, non-turbo sleds. This install also works for the 600 and 800 Axis minus the EGT portion of the video. Now that you have the HPS Performance Exhaust installed on your brand new Polaris, you're ready to go hit the snow, ride the mountains, ride the trails with the best performing, best sounding exhaust on the market. You can expect about a 4 decibel increase with the HPS exhaust over stock. HPS is one of the quieter options that you can buy on the market and has the deepest tone. Everyone loves the HPS signature tone. So remember, go check us out at teamhps.com and go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Team HPS or High Performance Sports. Thanks for watching.